We got Matthew Semelsberger back here on the program. Is going to be taking on Khaos Williams on June 19th at UFC Fight Night. Matt, how's it going?
Good, brother. How about yourself?
Doing very well. It's good to see you back in action. Was this the right amount of time off in between fights? Because it's a nice schedule you got going for 2021.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, man. It was pretty much right around the time I expected. Wasn't too early, wasn't too late, so pretty good, man.
Yeah, and a really good opponent. We'll talk about that in a sec, but we got to talk about that last fight. You don't get paid by the hour. How impressed were you that you finished Jason Witt that quickly?
Definitely impressed with myself. Definitely surprised myself a little bit, but that was the intention going into the fight, was to finish it. Just the whole 16 seconds thing was a little bit of a surprise, but like I said, I had a hunch that I was gonna put him away, but it was just one of those things where it kind of caught me off guard. Like the first punch I threw was the one that did it. So,
did you have a lot of people win money on the fight?
Yeah, dude, I had another bunch of crop of people hit me up and told me I won them some money for the fight. So I was pumped about that for sure. But I've definitely already had a bunch of people hitting me up about this fight, telling me. I think one dude was like, "Dude, I'm putting my whole house on you, so don't fuck up." I'm just like,
no, God, that's so. Why would they say that? That's so silly. So.
I don't know, man. I don't really care though. It's like that's not going to bother me too much. But I was just like, "Whoa, it's a confident bet."
Yeah, I know my buddy Adam Martin, who's a fellow journalist. He put some decent amount of money on your last fight and won some cash. So yeah, I wanted to mention that. He wanted to send the message along and say thanks again for getting that win there. But you're fighting a pretty notable name here in Khaos Williams. Just how excited were you to get this name? I know he lost his last fight, but he had a lot of hype in 2020 after the run he went on.
Yeah, and even for some people, they'll say that that they thought he won the last fight against Pereira. I did watch that fight. It was a good fight, and I think Pereira did, pretty much what he needed to do. Khaos is just a dangerous guy, man. If you stick in the pocket with him, you can't eat too many before he'll put you away. So I get his tactics, and that was already kind of his style anyways, moving a lot and, very shifty. So, yeah, man, super, super tough dude, but definitely have been doing my homework on it. That's for sure.
And I know you've been training a bit with Tim Means. I actually, when we were supposed to do our interview last week, I was literally interviewing him right before you texted me and you said you had some car trouble. So tell me how it's been getting to train with the Dirty Bird.
Oh, dude, it's always a pleasure, man. So I went down there, I think it was like a couple of weeks before I got signed to the UFC. He was getting ready for his Loreno Staropoli fight. And I went out there just to kind of give him a look and kind of play the part of Staropoli. I'm an athletic guy, so coming up, I used to be sparring partners for a lot of fighters, and I would just play different parts and different styles. So I actually learned a lot of fighting techniques and this and that from just playing the parts of different fighters. So went out there, and he was welcomed me with open arms, and he's just been nothing but like a big brother to me, man. Sharing his knowledge that he's gained. I mean, he's probably I think now maybe on the UFC roster, he might be the one with the most fights, I want to say.
Yeah, yeah, he's been in there for a while. He's been a mainstay. So a lot of veteran experience I'm sure you can learn from, right?
Oh, big time, man. He's just a really nice guy, man. As much of a beast and as much of a freaking gritty, just awesome fighter he is, man. He's just so down to earth, very calm, very cool, man. He's just he's a good example for young fighters, that's for sure.
Who else are you getting to work with over there? I know it's not like a notable team, so to speak, in terms of some of the names there, but who are you getting to work with?
So Tom Vaughn, shout out to Wild Bunch Management. He runs Fit NIH over in Albuquerque. So him and Coach JJ John Judy were helping me a big lot when I was down there a few weeks ago. So the coaching, and then just Ty and all of the guys down there, man. Some of them are up and coming. Some of them, have been fighting for a bit and haven't fought for a while. So it's just and just being in Albuquerque, man, that's a fighting city. Everybody is just about fighting there. So, whether it's someone who is an active competitor or not, man, everyone in that gym that I was going with was pushing me. And no one really specific, aside from obviously Tim. Yeah, man, just a bunch of, like I told you last time, man, bunch of the best fighters you've never heard of.
Yeah. In terms of, getting to train down in Albuquerque, how's the altitude in terms of, having that as another sort of caveat in your training camp? Because not everyone gets to train at altitude.
It's good, man. Very good. Obviously it's tougher going from lower elevation to higher elevation. So, and going back to like why I went out there, I wanted to go out there because I wanted to experience that high elevation. I wanted to experience that tough training where I'm at suboptimal, you know, physical levels. So, it was good, man. I love training at high elevation. When you come back home, actually, I'll shout out to my homie David White. He's a professional MMA fighter. He fights out of Bauer House in Frederick, but he went out with me to Albuquerque. We drove both there and back, and man, we had quite the experience, man. On the way home, we broke down like 3 hours into our trip, and we ended up having to push this car like 3 or 4 miles.
Whoa.
Then we had to get it towed to like Amarillo, Texas, and we were chilling in like some home style diner while the car's getting fixed. It was like, dude, I didn't sleep for like 2 days straight on the ride home, but it was cool, man. It was honestly like the perfect experience, man. I worked really hard out there in Albuquerque, and on the way home, it was almost like nope, not done yet. Got to push the car a couple miles and do all this and that before you can get all the way back home. So, shout out to David for coming out with me, man. We put in some good work there.
Yeah, and builds character too, which is really good. Kind of on that note, who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
So I got Sebastian Ramirez. He's like been pretty much my head coach for a while now. And then I have John Del Bruges, another one of my main coaches. You know, Sebastian's more of the striking realm. Obviously, John's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and has numerous MMA fights professionally. So he's always been a really good person to have as a coach and as a friend. And then this time I will have my big brother Michael coming out to corner me as well. So I'm really excited, man. I haven't had my brother in my corner for a bit, but I think particularly for this fight, it's going to be helpful having him there, just like in the spirit of it all.
On paper, this looks like a fight of the night. How do you see this matchup unfolding on June 19th?
Honestly, man, I'm not entirely sure. But, I mean, to be honest, I don't see it going to the judges' scorecards, and I don't think really anybody else does. And like I've been telling people, man, I don't have any expectations for this fight, but I do have intentions for it. So the intention is to go in there and, you know, trade with him and not shy away from the striking battle, because that's what I like to do. But I'm going to try to do it on my own terms. You know what I mean? If you talk about some of the guys in the past that have faced Khaos and gotten right in the pocket with him and stuck there, usually they pay the price and they go out. So I'm going to be smart and I want to be technical about it, but I'm definitely not going to shy away. So you can expect some action, but it might take a little bit for me to find my rhythm.
I mentioned it there, Khaos Williams, a pretty notable guy in the division. Where does a win put you, in your opinion? Does that get you closer to the rankings? What are you sort of thinking here with the matchup?
I don't really care, man. I just want, honestly, I'm looking for challenging fights. I'm looking to grow as a person, and that's a big reason why I fight, is learning about myself and becoming a better person. So when they told me I was fighting Khaos, I was like, let's go. Like, you know, part excitement, part fear, because he's a scary guy, man. He's a beast. He hits hard and he's a good fighter. So I'm excited for that, man. It got my heart rate jumped up right when I heard about that, but it was like in a good way. For sure.
No, I imagine. And, you know, the reason, kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit here, don't you think, though, you know, once you get in the rankings, then you start getting those, you know, challenging fights, because a lot of those, I mean, they're all killers, but also you get those big names as well, too. Like, is that something, you know, that you're kind of aware of a little bit?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, I do pay, like, it's not like I don't pay attention to rankings, because I definitely do, but I just, like, I take it with a tiny grain of salt. I don't really think too much of it, but for sure, you definitely have a point, man. If I can get myself into a, you know, higher ranking, I can start getting some bigger names and in turn bigger challenges. So that's definitely the goal, man. Anything that I pursue, I want to be one of the best at it. So that's my goal, but I'm not gonna overthink too much into the whole rankings and whatnot.
You watching the NHL playoffs at all?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. No, man, I haven't been able to watch it much because
not even the highlights. You haven't been catching up a little bit, or?
I've been trying. My dad watches it a lot. Like, I came in the other night and he was watching. I forget who was playing.
Well, that doesn't matter. We can do the process of elimination here, because there's not that many teams left. So it was the Islanders and Bruins last night. The Islanders ended up winning. Yeah. So there was that. Was that the game?
Yeah, that was the game he was watching. And then is Montreal still in it, right?
They are. They beat Winnipeg. So they're now and they're going to play the winner of Vegas and Colorado at the time of recording this. So
righteous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Still in it, man. Cap blew it. I didn't get to watch really any of their playoffs this year, but my dad's watching hockey all the time, so he's telling me it's just like they're blowing it.
Yeah. Well, it'll be different. I think, nothing against this season. It's been entertaining, but I think too, like once things get back to normal, when they get like every arena, has crowd back, the crowd back, I think that's going to be a little bit different. Things will get back to normal here. I think the quality of hockey will be a little bit better too, because you have the crowd in there. Because right now it's weird. Like in Canada, where I live, they, like Montreal, for example, they only have a handful of the fans there, whereas you go to like Boston, it's like almost full capacity. So it is a little bit different.
Yeah, and like, especially talking about the Caps, man. I'm sure this is how it is for some other professional sports teams, but I feel like the Caps almost play completely different and in a better way when they have their full packed house there, especially in Washington, man. Those games are like wild. I love going to them, man.
Yeah, and Ovechkin's a free agent. I mean, he's probably going to re-sign, but let's hope they get that sorted out sooner rather than later, because I can't imagine Alex Ovechkin in another uniform.
Yeah, man, right? It's like he's been there so long, he might as well just freaking finish it out there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the offseason. Matt, thanks so much for doing this, man. I'm looking forward to the fight. It is UFC Fight Night coming up here very soon. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors, any social media? I'll give you the last word.
No, don't have really sponsors or anything right now, man, but I just want to thank, all my family, my mom, my dad, my little brother Sam, my big brother Michael, my sister Lauren. I want to thank my team, Crazy 88, Coach Sebastian, Coach John, Master J, all my training partners, Clinch Academy up in Frederick, Luke Reinhardt, all my homies over there. And then just, everybody who's been hitting me up and showing support, man, it means the world to me.